The pen hovered over the signature line as my son shifted nervously beside the nursing home director, their conspiracy crumbling with each word I wrote. Judge Robert Matsuda, Retired Superior Court, case #2024 CF 789 fraud investigation pending. The director's face drained of color as she realized I hadn't been the confused old man they'd been counting on. I'd been gathering evidence for 6 months. But the real shock came when I pulled out my phone and said, "Detective Walsh, we're ready for you now." "Dad, what are you?" Kevin started, but his voice died as sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder. "Documenting elder fraud," I said calmly, setting down the Mont Blanc pen I'd used to sign verdicts for 30 years. "Also theft, conspiracy, and what I believe Prosecutor Williams will argue as attempted kidnapping." The nursing home director, Mrs. Lorraine Brennan, clutched the admission papers like a life raft. Her perfectly manicured nails, paid for with kickbacks from families like mine, no doubt, dug into the fraudulent documents that promised to declare me incompetent. "This is a misunderstanding," she said, her professional smile cracking. "We're simply trying to provide care for seniors who need to have their assets liquidated." I pulled out a folder I'd been keeping in my jacket. Like Robert Chin, whose son mysteriously gained power of attorney 3 days after admission. Or Maria Santos, whose house was sold within a week of signing these same papers. Kevin stepped back from the desk. "Dad, you're confused." The doctor said. "Dr. Mitchell? Your golf buddy? The one who's been writing competency evaluations without ever meeting his patients." I showed him a photo on my phone. Fascinating what a private investigator can discover. Did you know he lost his license in Nevada for the exact same scheme? Through the window, 2 police cruisers pulled into the circular drive of Sunset Meadows Senior Living. The name itself was a lie, no meadows for miles, and the only sunset here was the systematic dimming of residents' rights. "You can't do this," Lorraine stood, her voice shrill. "You signed the intake forms. You agreed to assessment. I agreed to tour your facility after my son expressed concern about my living alone. I adjusted my glasses, the same wire-rimmed pair I'd worn while sentencing criminals for decades. What I found was a pattern of elder abuse that would make my former colleagues at the DA's office salivate." "Dad, please," Kevin's voice cracked. He was 43, my only child, and apparently thought his inheritance couldn't wait for nature to take its course. "After Mom died, you've been grieving?" "Yes." "Incompetent?" "No." I thought of Ellen, gone 8 months now. Cancer, not confusion, had taken her. "Your mother would be ashamed, Kevin. We raised you better than this." Detective Walsh entered first, her shield visible, followed by 2 uniformed officers. I'd mentored her when she was a rookie testifying in my courtroom. Now she commanded the Elder Abuse Division, a unit I'd helped establish. "Judge Matsuda," she nodded respectfully. "We have the warrants." "Warrants?" Lorraine backed against her filing cabinet. "This is harassment. I'll call our lawyers." "Blackstone and Associates?" I asked. "They were disbarred yesterday. Something about facilitating fraudulent guardianships. You really should check your phone messages." She grabbed her iPhone with shaking hands. 14 missed calls. Probably Blackstone himself, calling from federal custody. "Kevin Matsuda." Detective Walsh turned to my son. "You're under arrest for conspiracy to commit elder fraud, attempted theft of assets exceeding $2 million, and filing false documents." $2 million. Kevin's legs gave out. He collapsed into the visitor's chair where he'd sat an hour ago, playing the concerned son. "Dad, your house isn't worth." "The house, my retirement accounts, your mother's life insurance, the vacation property in Tahoe you didn't know about." I watched them cuff him, felt something break inside me that had nothing to do with age. "Did you even wait for her ashes to settle before plotting this?" "You don't understand," he said desperately. "Stephanie's pregnant. We need a bigger house. Private schools. You're just one person rattling around in that huge place. So you decided to steal it instead of ask for help. You would have said no. You always say no. Work harder, Kevin. Earn it yourself, Kevin." "Well, I tried." "You tried for 6 months after college, then lived off your mother and me for 20 years. The truth felt like a verdict. We enabled you. That's our fault. But this is all you." Detective Walsh handed me an evidence bag. "We'll need the documents you collected, Judge." I passed over 6 months of work. Recorded conversations where Kevin discussed my deteriorating mental state with Lorraine, while I was sharp enough to catch every lie. Bank statements showing suspicious transfers. Photos of residents who'd been declared incompetent, now living in squalor while their assets disappeared. How many families? I asked Walsh. 23 confirmed so far. Total theft exceeding 30 million. She looked at Lorraine with disgust. You targeted judges, professors, doctors, people whose families assumed their intelligence had faded. People whose children were eager to believe it. I want a lawyer, Lorraine said. You'll need one. Walsh nodded to the officers, who produced a second set of handcuffs. As they led my son away, he turned back. I'm your only family, Dad. You're really going to do this? Family doesn't drug their father's coffee. I held up the test results I'd gotten from a private lab. Benzodiazepines, Kevin. Small doses, just enough to make me seem confused. Enough to support your fabricated concerns. His face went white. I never. Tuesday dinners. Every week after Mom died, you insisted on cooking. Suspicious how I only felt foggy on Wednesdays. I straightened my shoulders. Fortunately, judges are trained to recognize patterns. And I stopped drinking the coffee 2 months ago. They let him out in handcuffs, past residents watching from the common room. Some alert, some truly needing care, all deserving better than predators disguised as protectors. Judge Matsuda, a small voice called. Maria Santos wheeled herself forward, the woman whose house had been stolen. Is it true? Are we getting justice? Yes, Maria. We're getting justice. She started crying. They said I was crazy. Said I imagined owning a house. My own daughter. She covered her face. I knelt beside her wheelchair, my knees protesting. Age was real, even if my mind remained sharp. You're not crazy. You never were. And we'll get your house back. The new owners. Bought it through fraud. The sales will be reversed. I took her hand, papery skin over strong bones. I promise you. I may be retired, but I still know every judge in this county. We'll make this right. Behind us, paramedics wheeled out files, computers, evidence of systematic elder abuse. Each document represented a parent betrayed, a grandparent robbed, a human being reduced to a bank account. Why? Maria asked. Why did they think they could do this to us? I thought about Kevin, about all the Kevins who saw their parents' autumn years as an inconvenient delay to inheritance. Because society teaches that old means useless. That gray hair equals gray matter. That needing help with technology means needing help with everything. But you knew better. I've sentenced hundreds of criminals, Maria. I recognize guilt even when it wears my son's face. The words tasted like ashes. Especially then. Walsh returned, her expression grim. Judge, we found more. Sunset Meadows is part of a chain. 12 facilities across 3 states. We're looking at RICO charges now. Racketeering. My son hadn't just betrayed me. He'd joined organized crime targeting the elderly. I'll testify, I said. Sir, that's not necessary. We have enough. I'll testify, I repeated. Every senior they robbed deserves to see one of us stand up and speak truth. Even if that truth destroys my only child. She nodded slowly. Thank you, Judge. Can I drive you home? Home. The house Kevin had tried to steal. Where Ellen's pictures still smiled from every shelf. Where I'd planned to live until I couldn't, then make my own choices about what came next. Actually, I decided, I'd like to stay. Help the residents understand what's happening. Make sure they have representation. But this place needs oversight until the state takes over. I'm volunteering. I looked around the lobby with its fake plants and cheaper furniture. These people trusted someone. That trust was betrayed. The least I can do is stand guard while they heal. Walsh smiled. The same smile she'd worn years ago when I'd sentenced a serial abuser to maximum time. Once a judge, always a judge. Once a human, I corrected. Always responsible for other humans. She left me there, in a facility meant to be my prison, now become my purpose. Residents emerged from rooms, gathered in the lobby, questions tumbling over each other. Is it over? Will we get our money back? Are we safe now? I stood before them, 76 years old, widowed, betrayed by blood, and somehow steadier than I'd been in months. Yes, I told them. It's over. Yes, you'll get restitution. Yes, you're safe. The law failed you once. It won't fail you again. How can you be sure? An old professor, Dr. Patel, still clutching the physics textbook he'd been forced to leave behind. Because I spent 30 years enforcing justice. I'm not stopping now. I pulled out my phone, scrolled to contacts accumulated over decades. By tomorrow, every resident will have pro bono representation. By next week, a full audit of all transactions. By next month, recovery of all possible assets. And our families? Maria asked quietly. The ones who will face consequences. I thought of Kevin, sitting in a cell tonight instead of my guest room. Justice is blind to DNA. They disperse slowly, hope replacing despair. I stayed in the lobby making calls. Bar association friends who specialized in elder law. Former clerks now running nonprofits. Journalists who'd covered my cases and trusted my word. By midnight, Sunset Meadows had become command central for the largest elder fraud investigation in state history. My phone rang. Unknown number. Dad. Kevin's voice calling from county jail. Dad, please. I'm sorry. I'll pay everyone back. I'll make this right. How? I'll figure it out. Just please don't let them prosecute. Think about Stephanie. Think about your grandchild. I am thinking about them. Thinking they deserve a father who takes responsibility. I walked to the window, seeing my reflection. Old but not obsolete, worn but not weak. You have two choices, Kevin. Plead guilty and cooperate fully, or fight and lose everything. You're really choosing them over me? Over your own son? I'm choosing justice over blood. Your mother would understand. Mom would never. Your mother spent her last months worried about you. Not cancer, not death, you. She knew something was wrong. Saw you eyeing her jewelry, asking about insurance policies. My voice broke. She made me promise to let you find your own way. I failed that promise by enabling you. I won't fail it by excusing you. Silence. Then, I hate you. I know. I ended the call, turned off my phone, and sank into a chair. The lobby was quiet now, just the hum of fluorescent lights and distant TV voices. Tomorrow would bring lawyers, reporters, the machinery of justice grinding back to life. Next week would bring trials, testimony, the airing of family secrets in public court. But tonight, I sat in the ruins of my son's greed and felt something unexpected. Peace. I'd spent a career judging others. Tonight, I'd finally judged myself, as a father who'd loved too blindly, helped too freely, and nearly paid with my freedom. The gavel had fallen. The verdict was in. And for the first time since Ellen died, I knew exactly what she'd say. Robert Matsuda, you stubborn fool. You saved them all, including Kevin. He'll hate you for it, but someday he'll understand. Justice is the highest form of love. Maybe. Maybe not. But in a nursing home that would never trap another senior, surrounded by victims who would become victors, I closed my eyes and felt my Ellen smile. Justice served. Court adjourned. And one old judge, finally at peace with his hardest verdict. Guilty of loving a son who'd forgotten how to love back, innocent of letting that love destroy others. The law, as always, would have the last word.